So it's called Myth or Fact. I think all of you might have heard this, but this one is related to health tips, and I want you to play as a general viewer, and I would like to see how much of this do you know and how much of it do our viewers know, because it will be very useful. And now that health is catching up, it's becoming a trend, so I thought I would like to take this opportunity.
Okay,
So there are 10 questions, and you have to tell if it is a myth or a fact, according to you.
okay.
So the first one is walking is better than running for losing weight.
Yeah, I know this is true because I think I read this somewhere. So I think when you run, uh, you lose a lot of energy quickly. So your body needs more carbs, something like that. Whereas when you
Yeah.
walk, it's a
So,
sustained loss of energy. So you don't really end up exhausting quickly.
so wherever you have heard that, it is true. Walking does help more than running in losing weight. So the theory that you try to explain is actually when you walk, it's a not a very hard process. So your body uses the fat that is stored, and hence the fat is lost. So you lose weight. But when you're running, your body uses the carbohydrates. So it just uses the energy which it would have otherwise used. So it kind of replenishes your energy. So you end up feeling hungrier,
Hmm.
and it doesn't really burn your fat. It just uses up the energy which you have to intake again.
Yeah.
So you got the first one right. The second one is eggs can cause heart attacks.
I don't think I've heard anything like this, but from what I can correlate with, I mean, using two facts that egg yolk usually, if you have it, like if you have a lot of egg yolk, it can increase your cholesterol. That's what I've heard. I don't know if it's true or not. And usually higher cholesterol means your blood vessels they get narrower, and that might eventually lead to a heart attack. So I think this might be true, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so this is in fact a myth and not a
Okay.
fact. You are right that eggs do increase your cholesterol, but there are two types of cholesterols, the good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. And when your bad cholesterol increases, that is when you have the risk of heart attacks. But eggs actually increase your good cholesterol, which is needed. So they actually are useful for you. And they're also packed with a lot of vitamins, a lot of nutrients. So I think everyone should eat even the yolk, because when you throw away the yolk does have a bit more fat content, but that is where all the nutrients lie. So if you only eat the whites, you're basically just eating protein. And if that's your goal, you can, but you won't get the nutrients. So I think whole eggs should be consumed on a daily level, something
But
that
do you
doesn't
think
happen.
if someone is having 6 eggs on a daily basis, do you think they should have all 6 whole eggs, or should maybe they should have 4 whole and 2 whites? Because that's what I saw online. So I'm
Yeah,
not sure.
so if you can balance your fat content, because at the end of the day, it's about managing your portions. So I think 6 eggs in a day will be about half of your fat requirements. So if you can reduce the other fats that you consume, I think there's no problem.
So it's
Because
all about the fat content and not the cholesterol
yeah,
that it might
because
cause.
the higher the fat you eat, most of it is linked to higher cholesterol. So if you manage your portions and make eggs as your primary source of fat and reduce other oily foods and whatever fat sources that you take, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
Okay. I just want to also tell the viewers that this is not health advice. Ved is just telling me what he knows. Don't. I mean, we are not advising you to try this at home, but he's just spreading his knowledge.
Yeah. So you're sitting at 1-all, right?
Yeah.
So third one is eating a cucumber, carrot, and a tomato salad with your meal fulfills your fiber need.
I think if you have cucumbers and tomatoes with the skin, I think that should contain a lot of fiber. And I think carrot in general also is fibrous. That's what I've heard. So I think this is a fact.
So this is a myth,
Oh,
and this is a very, very big problem because if you see in India generally or anywhere nearby areas, whenever you mention the word salad, you're just given a cut cucumber with an onion and a lemon on top, and they call it a salad. But the fiber content in that is actually close to just 6 or 7 grams of at max, and you need 30 grams of fiber every day. That is the recommended portion. So it's nowhere close to the amount of fiber you need. But luckily in Indian households, that is not a problem as big as the protein issue is, because legumes and a lot of leafy vegetables do have fiber, and this is where the other cuisines lack because other cuisines usually are meat heavy, and that is something that does not have fiber at all. So Indians are ahead in that aspect. So a balanced diet does fulfill it, but just adding a salad in the name of a cucumber, carrot, and a tomato does not necessarily satisfy your fiber needs. You have to eat other vegetables and beans and all that.
but was my hypothesis correct that eating those things with skin at least maximizes the fiber
Yeah,
content?
that is where the entire fiber content is in
Okay. Yeah.
uh, the carrot, yeah, carrot and the cucumber. So
Tomatoes and cucumbers, right?
yeah,
Carrots don't
sorry,
have skins.
the cucumbers and tomatoes. So yeah, that was right. So you are
So I have something to show.
so
Not
you are
completely wrong.
trailing
Okay.
1-2 at the moment.
Yeah.
So the next one, building muscles is not possible without strength training.
This is a bit weird because building muscles, I'm assuming, is developing new muscles and not just maintaining the existing ones, right?
Yeah, like growing the
Growing
existing.
muscles. I'm sure with cardio you can also train your muscles. Like if you're walking each day, I'm sure your leg muscles are getting trained. But would that classify as building muscles? So I think this might be a myth. There should be other exercises that you can do because not everyone can do strength training and they still are fairly strong. So I think this is a myth.
So this is a fact. And strength training is multifaceted. So
Hmm.
it's not just limited to the gym, but anywhere that you where you stimulate your muscles. Basically, that's what is needed because when you grow your muscles, what you basically do is you just fatigue your muscles or strain them so
Yeah,
they develop partial tears, and then the nutrition that you provide to your body is used to repair them, and while repairing they actually grow.
yeah,
So you need to first fatigue them in order to for them to tear, and then while repairing they'll grow. So if you don't fatigue them, it's of no use.
yeah. I think I got confused with. I mean, I confused strength training with lifting weights, but I kind of got confused with the word. I think running, not running, but I think walking on an incline can also be considered as strength training, right? Because your legs do get sore after that.
Yeah, they do get sore, but the purpose of walking or doing cardio is for you to maintain your heart health. So
Hmm.
generally nobody does it for building their legs. It is a byproduct, but that's not the main purpose. But yeah, they can also train your legs, but you'll just
Okay.
have to do it for a long time.
Yeah.
So you're 1-3
One out
at
of
the moment.
four now.
Yeah. So the
I was
next
one
one,
out of one, and then I've got three wrong.
a bit like India,
How is that so?
border Gavaskar Trophy last year. Yeah. So number 5, bulking is a phase in your diet where you eat whatever you feel like and as much as you want, and it is a phase necessary to grow muscles.
This is obvious. This has to be a myth because you can't eat whatever you want to grow muscles. You have to, I think, concentrate on a few nutrients. But this is usually where you eat more than what you usually eat to gain a bit of weight and so muscles.
Yeah, so this one you got it right. Bulking is a phase where you eat more than what your body needs. So you're right in that. And there are actually two ways to do it. One is called the clean bulk and one is called the dirty bulk. The dirty bulk is where you basically eat a lot of junk food because if you have enough protein, it will be sufficient to build muscles or
Yeah,
help the muscles. So you can just eat whatever else you want until and unless you are meeting your protein goals. And the rest will just accumulate in your body and it will help you during your workouts. You'll have more energy if you eat more carbs. And but then at some point you'll have to stop and analyze yourself because if you go overboard with it, then losing the weight will be hard because a bulking phase is usually followed with a cutting phase.
correct.
So you're 2-3. So next one is something you will be happy to know if you know. You'll be happy if you know it.
Okay, okay.
Dal chawal is a complete protein source.
We are, I'm not sure about the quantity here, but if I'm assuming a normal one bowl of dal rice, I don't think it is enough.
No, like,
Otherwise,
is it
everybody
a
else would have.
source of protein? That's the question.
Dal is a source of protein. I mean, again, most dals are. Rice is a source of carbs. So if you're having more rice and very less dal, then probably not. But if you're having enough dal, then sure. But I don't think it's enough for your daily requirements.
Yeah,
So this is a myth, basically. That's what I'm saying.
so this is actually a fact, and so I'll just quickly tell that protein is made up of 9 essential amino acids.
Okay.
Dal alone is not, it does not contain those. So dal alone is not a complete protein source, unlike what most people think. But when you pair it with rice, rice has the amino acids that are missing in the dal. So when you combine them, you get a complete protein source. But you are right with the quantity because it is definitely not sufficient. So you'll
Okay,
have to eat
again,
a lot.
again, this was the syntax was a bit weird because by complete, I thought you're getting your daily requirement. So you eat just a bowl of dal rice and you're set for the day. But by complete, you meant that you're getting all the nine amino acids. So in some sense, I was correct, I think.
Yeah. Uh, if you were to rely only on dal chawal for your protein, which is about 100 grams of protein that you need. So every 100 grams of dal chawal has combined has around 6 grams of protein, I believe. So you'll have to eat 16, 1.6 kg of dal chawal, and that would be way over your caloric requirements. So it's not sustainable.
So can I take this point? Half point, okay.
Okay, so you're at 2.5 out of 6.
Yeah.
So the next one, eating carbohydrates makes you gain fat.
They are two different things, right? How can you eat carbs and gain fat?
No, not the nutrient fat, not the macros, not the
So you're saying, will you
macronutrient
get
fat.
fat if you
Yeah,
have carbs? I actually, I mean, if you're not doing any activity, so if you're not using the energy that you get from carbs, then it is stored as stored as deposits in your body, which then becomes fats. That's what I think I know. So if you just eat carbs and do nothing, then I think you'll get fat. But if you eat carbs and in a limit again, but if you also then do some activity, I think most of it should get burnt. So you should be fine.
Yeah, so while answering, you have also given a beautiful advice to people. So yeah, that is, but is this a myth or a fact?
I think
Deal or no deal?
this is a myth.
Yes, so this is a myth, and what you said is also correct. Carbohydrates are stored in your body as glycogen, and why you feel that you gain fat is because with every gram of carbohydrates, your body
I
also,
also know this. There's water retention, so
yeah,
your body stores more water.
your body
I
retains
saw this
water,
recently.
so you feel like you have gained weight, but when your normal routine life goes ahead, you will eventually lose it. So
Yeah,
it's most of it is just water. But as you said, you have to also use that energy, otherwise it
yeah.
gets converted into fat. But eating carbohydrates does not make you gain fat. So when you hear people saying just cut out rice, cut out potatoes, and you lose weight, that's not how it works unless you are doing no activity at all.
No, but if you're not consuming carbs, then wouldn't your body start using the fats that are deposited earlier, and then won't you eventually lose weight? It's not the most optimal way, but it will happen, right? Slowly.
Yeah. So your body will shift to ketosis, where it will use fats to get energy because you're not
Yeah,
providing it any energy in the form of
correct.
glycogen. But there's a cycle. So once you start it, you cannot eat anything which has carbs, otherwise there's no point.
Hmm.
So either you go completely zero, which is not the case with people. So you might have heard about keto diets, which is
Yeah.
where you eat only protein and fat, but then that means you eliminate vegetables, uh, and bread, rice, everything. So you'll also lose nutrients. So that's why it's not sustainable.
Okay.
So you're now 3.5 out of 7. You've just got three more to go. The amount of fats in your diet, like the macronutrient fat, should be about your body weight.
I actually had seen a video recently where this shared a formula to calculate your macros, and I think fats weren't not as much as your body weight. You multiply it by a factor, and I think that factor is less than one, if I'm not wrong. So I think this is a myth. It should be less than your body weight, I think.
Yeah, so that factor is actually point 0.8. So
Yeah.
you can, so even if it's about your body weight, that is ideal. So yeah, I think I can give you that point because you knew it.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
And with proteins, is it 1.5 times, I think, or something similar?
yeah. So if you are a 50 kg man, you need at least 75 grams of protein.
Correct.
And that is if you're not looking to build muscles. So that is just for your maintenance,
Yeah.
which many people don't understand, but that is the truth. And about fats, so one way to calculate how much you should be eating is what I do is just calculate my protein. So if I've set it to be around 100 grams of protein per day, so 1 gram has 4 calories. So 400 calories from protein, and the remaining you can give it to carbs and fats.
Yeah.
So if I'm eating 1500 calories per day, so the remaining about 1100 I'll give it, I'll distribute it to carbs and fats, more towards carbs, because 1 gram of fat has 9 calories. and not 4. Well, 1 gram of carbs and 1 gram of protein is 4 calories. So that makes it easier to calculate. So you get that point, and now you're on 4.5 out of 8. Overeating protein can damage your body.
The previous one was a myth. The one before that also was a myth. So, but I think this should be a myth because I mean overeating again has certain limits to it. But if you eat 20 eggs in a day, I don't think that should cause too much damage if you're also having the other nutrients. Because I think the only damage that might happen is that you're eating only protein and you're not consuming anything else. But that's because you're not consuming the other stuff. It's not because you're consuming too much protein. So I think this is a myth.
So once again, I think you've got the game now. This is also right. It is a myth. The only problem is, as you mentioned, if you overeat in general, that is a problem. But if you overeat protein, your body will still use up the amount of protein it needs, and the rest will get converted to fat. So it won't damage your body. But then if you reduce your fat intake and eat more protein and balance it out, it doesn't make any difference. So now you're at 5.5, and the last one is physical activities burn 10% of your daily caloric intake.
Daily caloric intake. That's a interesting way to put it. Because from what I've heard is that most of your calories are burnt through other processes in the body, like breathing or pumping blood or your brain as well. It uses a lot of calories. So actual physical exercise burns very less. It could be around 10%. So I think this is a fact.
Yeah, so you've got this one as well. You're absolutely right. It's around 60 to 70% of your energy that you get by eating is used only for you to survive or
Yeah.
exist. And the rest, I think around 10% is also used to actually digest your food.
Yeah.
So, and the remaining is split. So, I think you did really well on that. I wasn't expecting, especially after the initial fumble,
Yeah.
came back
I think I
strong.
was I had one in four and I ended up
Yeah,
with 6.5. So I got almost all the remaining correct.
I hope our viewers enjoyed this segment and got to learn a few new things. And even if you didn't, hopefully you stayed long enough for us. Thank you for watching and stay tuned to our channel, The Unfiltered Feed.